Well, hello there everybody. I hope you are very well today. My name's Graham from CPT and we're actually parked at Jersey Airport, believe it or not. I have a base, as you've seen previously, just before Christmas, that we've recently acquired a, let's say, FBO and a base at Guernsey Airport, but for some reason we're here today, and the reason is that we're going to be hosting a very special flight, hopefully, on the VATSIM network. And the flight is going to be open to people to join from Jersey to Nantes in France and then Toulouse Airport. It's not a very long trip, and the Citation X can probably do it in maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. And this will be the opportunity and the start of Grantham Corporate Charter, and it'll give people the chance to join in with flights in the future as well. If you are interested in joining, one of the main things you can do, and I think would help, would be to join via the online network. If you are interested in joining, then let me know in the comments or the chat. And if you want to join into the live stream flights, all you need to do is simply log on. But I do ask that people who join in and try to join flights and try to tag along are at least subscribed or at least associated with the channel in some way and haven't just turned up to get involved for the sake of it. They do need to be participants, pretty active participants, I'd say. Not really a big channel at the moment, but in time I'm hoping that will change, and I'm also hoping to release a video on this where I can talk a little bit more detail about it. You could submit your name, and the reason I'm not going to go through it now is because it's got a little bit more detail than I was expecting. So all you need to do is submit your name via the comments and submit what plane you would like to fly, because there will be a list of people who are involved, and there will be a list of, oh look, the door's opening, a list of planes that they fly. I will document the hours that you've flown. If you fly with me on the network, you will get bonus points, you'll get bonus pay. If you fly extra legs, you'll get bonus. If you do return trips, for example, and with me on the network, you'll get bonus points too. And there will be a scoreboard, but as I say, I'll go with through that in the video, and I'll give people a chance to get involved. So we're out here, Jersey. We're going to go in the Citation next. Let's get started. I know I haven't gone into it in much detail, but the main gist is that you can participate with me on stream, and if you want to, you know, get involved, do a flight with me or not, provided I'm on the network, of course, and I will make those flights known. Today's flight, of course, will be on the shared network. So let's go back into my documentation here. I have the route planned out on something called Sky Vectors. I know this is for VFR, but since we're going to be flying through the world, we might as well use a visualization of it. And as you can see, we've got about 370 nautical miles. From Jersey to Toulouse is our final destination, with a stopover, or basically a halfway point, of Nantes. And the flight plan has given us, well, actually, let's look at the wind and the weather. So as you can see there, north-east winds. We're here in the St. Helier, which is Jersey Airport. We'll be flying down here, so it's pretty northerly winds. We're going to have a headwind the whole way, and it's not very a long trip there, so yeah, it's not going to be much. But when we go on the second sector, the second shot, we have a lot longer, and Toulouse is not very visible there, so oh, there it is. So there it is, 10 degrees, 4 degrees, still pretty warm. What's the flight plan giving us? So it's giving us a 2269 fuel, and I have taken, so I did plan my fuel out manually because SimBrief sometimes doesn't give you enough. So I took 15 minutes contingency, and I've actually taken, I think, about an hour of reserve fuel. So the 45 minutes minimum plus the 15 minutes contingency plus another 15. Let's call the GPU. In the meantime, though, let's do a little bit of a start up and at least try and get connected to the ATC if there's some available. I don't think there will be, guys. It's a very quiet day. We have a few airplanes here landing at Jersey Airport. Thankfully, this will give me some time. Quite busy today, give me some time to load up and get started. So I'm going to do a few checks. I'm only going to get prepared for flight. I won't actually get the engine started for a while. So let's go ahead. Look, first we're going to check our standby power. And we're going to get our fuel bumps on. Avionics and ICAS. Realistically, should put the batteries on first, and then the generators. There we go. Transfer to normal. Oxygen to auto. Emergency lights to armed. I can switch that to day and night. And then when the GPU comes, which should be here, we've got to use the external power. So this side...
Jersey traffic, is your 34 Kilo Hotel still in a very bad mood, vacated 26.
Relatively easy on that side of the plane. I just listened to the ATC, I got no idea. No idea what that was about. Anyway, so yeah, we'll get the plane started. We're not going to put flight planning yet.
3 Kilo Hotel in a very good mood on final approach from runway 26.
Brilliant. We've got good people.
Zach, you're not funny.
First time I've ever heard that kind of thing over ATC. Anyway, so we get window heats on, we get our navigation lights. I'm going to put my recognition and tail flood. As for the pressurization, we're only going up to, I think it's like, let me just check the flight plan. I really apologise if you can't see it, but that's fine. So cruise, we're going up to 19,000, then we'll go up to 23,000 at Ren. Let's say 23,000 now, so right in the low end, get the packs. Lead air on to high. The packs can stay off. We've got no APU on at the moment. And then APU, of course. And this will burn through some of that initial fuel. Doesn't look like our lights have come on. There's the APU, so let's get the generator and the max bleed air on. And that's us pretty much ready to do our refuel, and we're allowed to refuel with the APU on. I think that's probably alright. At least on the game. Back into our flight plan. 2200, 2269. This is only for the first leg, everybody. So the second leg to Toulouse Airport will be probably considerably more fuel than this. Get the iOS. So we've got 500 kg at the moment. Let's go 2269. I go pretty much almost full. I'm actually going to take just a little bit more in the centre. And then weight wise, we have a total load. Turn that down for you all. A total load today of 8 people, I think. Yeah, 8 people and 200 kilograms of baggage. And then I'm going to type this in manually, so 200 kilograms. It's fine on there. Seems very busy at this airport. We've got 2 arrivals. Awesome. I think somebody did say they wanted to fly with me, but I have no idea if they're going to be coming in or if they're already in or not. Let's wait and see. I'm going to do the flight as usual anyway. So, flight plan wise, that's all sorted. Maximum takeoff weight is about 15,000 in this thing. This is quite heavy.
Hello, fellow aircraft. Good evening.
I got loads of EasyJet coming here, blimey. Nice. Okay, flight plan wise, let's get it typed in. So we need the departure here on Guernsey, Jersey Airport. Din 3 Alpha, and I'm going to copy and paste this into my notes. Then from there, guys, they make it a little bit easier to access it. So Echo Golf Jersey, Jersey to Lima Foxtrot Romeo Sierra. Let's go ahead and get that door closed. Departure runway 26, the Din 3 Alpha. And then from there, from the Din, we go to direct to the A25. Alpha 25. I can't remember in this. I think this one's a little bit strange. You can't actually put your airways in or something. So anyway, straight to the arrival after that. Got M1 Delta, runway 21. It's coming up with two options now. So VOR or the RNAV. That's very interesting. Let's have a look. So I'm guessing that probably will be the RNAV. Let's check on the charts. The arrival, the star, runway 21. This is coming up with a lot of different options here for this airport. I didn't realise how busy it was. This is ours anyway, the Godan from Jersey. Let's go for the RNAV then. And we'll transition at Lytton, which is on the map. And from Lytton then we'll be able to make our way to final. So Lytton is a good transition. Got a 1 Delta arrival. Activate that. That's as easy as that, everybody. And hopefully that transition will be at the right altitude for us. On the map it's going to be at 230 knots max. The Godam, 10,000 feet limit. Performance initialization, so 8 people on board today. Well, our climb speed, so we're only going to 19,000 feet, which means we could climb at 270 or we could climb a little bit slower, so we could say 260 or something like that, and cruise and descent. So descent as well, 270 seems alright. The default numbers are actually pretty good. Initial cruise altitude, as I say, is 19. And then we'll go to 20. Let's just check again. So on the charts, 23,000, in which case I'm going to put that in. Because we probably can't change it when we're in the air. Okay, so cruise winds. The cruise winds are on the flight plan today, and they're looking pretty strong, so we've got to be super careful. Rough weather, as we've seen on the map, these northerly pushing winds. Top climb at 19 is 67 knots at minus 23, and then 23,000 is about 70 knots of winds. So it's really going to be a struggle actually in this airport, from this airport. Jersey details are giving us very light conditions, so 220 30 knots, 1005 on the QNH. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. And 23,000 ISO deviation. Can probably put that in from the charts again, so like minus something up there. And fuel. Calculate cargo, and so it's given us 9 on the pack. So that usually means something's going wrong on the weight and balance, in which case you can reduce it until it gives you the right amount. There we go, so 8 people. Confirm that. Been a while since I've flown the Citation. It really is a fantastic plane. Laminar just did a great job with it. And that's one of the things about this sort of flight simulation, is you get so many different people making so many different products, and they're all usually very good quality. Let's just put that on standby. So yeah, when you get one like this of Laminar, you can contrast it with the, I think it's for the Microsoft Flight Simulator one, and you just see the difference and you think, wow, those are still both pretty incredible. I'd like to see more of these though. I have talked about it's more Citation jets, obviously some more general aviation aircraft as well. Let's put the trim up. Flaps wise, did we do a performance data? No, we didn't. So there's the winds, pretty good. Wet conditions, we can't actually change that to wet, so I'm hoping they'll update this in the future. Climb wise, not gonna be expecting too much, so 15 or 5. Let's go 15 today. Winds, V2 129. We can cross check that down here on the this sort of computer system. V speeds, and then you'll have landing speeds and takeoff speeds, so 129, and that will of course pop up on there. And then of course climb straight up to 19 and then 23,000. Alright guys, there's something going wrong with the lights, I think. There we go. Nav lights aren't switched on. My mistake. So you can have those on high begin with. GPU is connected and it should be turned on to the system, so external power. We're going to go ahead and switch this from navigation to flight management system, and the same on the co-pilot side. And then when we arrive at Nantes, I think we have an ILS available. So let's go for the approach. We're probably not going to have our ATC today, so we've got a little bit of discretion in what we do. Go with the ILS Zulu, for example, then yeah, that would probably work in our favour from the NITM transition, which is what we have planned at a maximum of 200 knots. And then we have a 115.5. I'm going to tune that in now so we don't forget it. So nav 2. 1515. And yeah, about 3,000 Dugoff, and then down localize it 3,000. Quite steep actually, 5.2%. So not an easy thing, is it? Although it seems to have it coming in the other way. What am I talking about? So it looks like we're going to come through the NITM transition and then the turn to the sort of right hand side and then come back down for runway 23. Or 21, whatever it was of the flight plan. Let's just check the flight plan one more time before departure. I want to make sure I'm fully aware of what we're doing. So 26 for departure and 21 for arrival, and 1010 and 1005 for departure QNH. Cool, let's go. We've got some noisy passengers in the back. Some noisy people back there. Millionaires, most likely. Alright, I think we're probably going to be the only people here. There's only one other plane, and that's the other EasyJet. Oh well. Let's get prepared to taxi, everybody. It's a very quick start up on this. We'll go for the engine start. There's no ATC available at the moment. Packs off. The beacon's on. Passenger seatbelts are coming on. Let's just cycle that brake. And we're going to stick our yaw dampers and Mac trim. Navigation, flight level change. We're going to change that to about 180 for the climb out. And our initial altitude, 19,000 feet. Okay, brilliant. What else are we missing? We're missing the minimums, aren't we? So, 1,000 feet, so 1280. Minimum set. Number 1 engine coming alive. So, packs off. Bleed air on max. Introduce the fuel. Engine starting up, the N2 and ITT is spooled up. And everything's good on that one, so let's go for a right engine. Relatively quick, and then introduce the fuel about 10%. So ITT again rising, I'm going to monitor the engine down here. N2 is a little bit slow on the right side, it is a little bit cold though, we got severe weather here overnight. You never know, it could have affected the engine and frozen over some of the fuel lines. Cool, so bleed air back to low. Let's get our packs on. I'm going to leave the APU on, and we'll get our pitos when we get to the runway. Windshield there. So there was some rain before, but I'm thinking it'll probably stay clear if we keep the heating on. And Laminar does take the time to model these things, so you know, you give it enough time, and if it's heavy rain, for example, it will rain on the windshield. But if it's light rain, it may take some time for it to build up, as we've seen. Cool, so transponder is to standby. We've squawked like a random code there because we haven't got a signed one. Everything else is pretty good. The Citation X is a really quick plane to start on the game, and although it looks confusing, and it is pretty advanced, you know, you can learn it if you just sit down with it for half an hour and take your time to understand what the process is. You can get an X checklist. So I have this X checklist, which includes everything from preliminary to shutdown, and that's a great way to learn about it. Cool, so taxi lights on, ground idle high. Don't need engine to sync at the moment. Let's just check the stall warning. Okay, stall warning's good. Disconnect. External power should disconnect on its own, but sometimes it doesn't usually cause any issues. Right, let's plan our taxi route, everybody. So according to our pre-flight briefing, we've checked the weather, we've checked the ATIS information, we've got the QNH, we have our departure briefing. We're going to be going on the let's bring it up for you, the DIN 3 Alpha departure straight to Alpha 25, and then Golden 1 Delta arrival to Nantes. The fuel and the payload are already on board. We have 8 expensive people, including 2 pilots. We have a lot of fuel, which is expensive, of course. We have our fees and our permissions to travel. We have our documents on board, airworthiness certificate, registration, and all the licenses. Taxi route will probably be via the only one at Jersey Airport. I think it's Alpha taxiway, isn't it? Yeah, so it looks like Juliet and then Alpha. Runway 26, let's go ahead and get a pushback.
Jersey ground 4 Foxtrot Lima, request pushback to the right.
Charlie 4 Foxtrot Lima, request startup permission next time, please. Standby, pushback tractor is on the way.
Oh, welcome in, Flight Sim Innovations, good to see you. Greetings from Philadelphia. Oh wow, one of my favourite US states, Philadelphia. Absolutely love it. I will enjoy the Citation X, thank you. It's a great plane, I totally agree with you. And I will enjoy some pastries as well. Thank you very much. We're only going to have a short stopover, so I'm hoping we've got time to get some tea and cake and things like that. Although it's French, isn't it? So it'd probably be coffee. Okay, there is a windshield build up there, so let's get the air on the windshield and you see it clear off. I love that kind of effect. It's so realistic as well. Takes light should come off for the pushback. Ground idle can be normal. Engine temperature.
Pushback. Release parking brake.
Okay, parking brake release. Temperatures and pressures are good. Our fuel flow is 540, 560, so that's a little bit off on one of the engines. A little bit less fuel on the left side, so we've got a little bit of an imbalance, which should mean obviously equaling them out before we take off. And there is a transfer thing. Let me show you on the board here. So cross views, I think, here for the left to the right, etc. For today though, we're not going to bother with that, we'll just do the gravity cross flow in the air. Let's go ahead and get our pitos. No takeoff, so that's probably because we've done something wrong. Maybe because we've not put the flaps down, maybe because of something else. We'll wait and see. That could also be a new message. I haven't seen that before. APU, speed brakes extended, that probably be why.
Stop here.
Stopping here. Disconnect. Push that completed.
Okay, she's pushed us back onto the taxiway at Jersey Airport. Let's go ahead and just turn into position. Quite a big space this. This is for a C-class jet, category C, so that's probably for big airliners as well. As you can see there, we've got a massive one in the background. Okay, taxi lights on. Gonna give her a call out. On 122.8. For some reason I have disconnected from the network. 122.8. Jersey traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo, taxi into runway 23 by Juliet and Alpha. That's our route, guys, Juliet and Alpha. We also have another EasyJet there who's done a short stop over in Jersey Airport, which is cool.
Jersey traffic, ET67 Yankee Victor is taxiing runway 26 by Alpha.
Runway 26, I think I said runway 23 possibly. Either way, we got an EasyJet in front of us, a bit of traffic and company. Let's just check our flight controls. Beacon navs on, pizza heat, window shield heat on. Give the EasyJet plenty of room here. So yeah, it seems like even though I'm based at Guernsey and we have a major FBO there, that Jersey is more for the EasyJet planes, and it's actually a little bit bigger than Guernsey Airport. Especially on the approach, when you come down, you can see the length of the runway a lot better, and it seems to have a considerably longer runway. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but it certainly feels like it, especially when you're in the Citation X. This really is a magnificent plane. I cannot reiterate it enough. The level of detail is really quite stunning, and this is exclusive for X-Plane 12. So Laminar never had a Citation X before number 12, which is also my first time playing X-Plane. You know, I never owned X-Plane before this. For me, this is not a beginner aircraft, as I say, but it is certainly a lot of fun to fly. And once you navigate all these switches and buttons, because it is a sort of hybrid between the analog era and the digital era, you got the Honeywell and some of these analog instruments, so It's a sort of blend between those two areas, and it's a really fantastic outcome. You know, they've significantly improved the lighting, the colouring, the
Jersey traffic,
sound.
67 Yankee Victor is landing up runway 26.
The sound's been massively improved. They've improved the FMC. They've corrected the spelling mistakes which were previously in it, believe it or not. So they are actively developing X-Plane 12 still, and I really hope that if they are going to keep updating it, great. Please add more to the Citation X. If you are going to release, you know, X-Plane 13, please consider adding more jets to the game, to the base game. Citation X is great, but you know, maybe a couple more would be good as well. I'm sure the community want that. Cool, so EasyJet is departing runway 26. We're going to hold short here at Alpha 1.
Jersey traffic is 67 Yankee Victor is departing on the Bravo 5 Alpha departure, runway 26.
Awesome. Let's watch this guy take off. He's got a pretty cool plane. I wonder if that's a Toulouse Airbus or not. Smooth taxiing by going from CPT today. Corporate charter is open, as I say. And this is an opportunity today for me to tell you about it, so you can all join in online if you want, but I do ask that you are subscribed and at least participants in the channel to get involved. There he goes. So as long as you're participating, you're more than welcome to join, and you know, we'll have scoreboards, and I will go through a video where I talk through how you can get involved officially, so giving your name and giving your details. You don't have to give much, just a name, and then you can document your hours with Grand Theft CPT charter. So let's get our transponder to test and then altitude. Let's do, we've got our pitos on, we've got our windshield there because it's raining. Let's get our strobes on and our landing lights. Let's set flaps for 15 as we said. And you'll see we have to trim quite nose down, nose up on this. That's about there for 15. Yeah, as you can see it's changed, so about there. 5 to 6 is absolutely fine. Right, we want the DIN 3 Alpha departure. Jersey traffic November 750 Sierra Bravo, departing runway 26, DIN 3 Alpha departure. Giving that aircraft there some time to get out, and he is appearing on the map 2,500 to 3,000 feet above us. Transition level for this airport is 5,000 feet. Free controls. That's an elegant plane, guys. Right, here we go. So advance the throttle. So it gets to the takeoff position. 3, 4, 5. Takeoff for a set. Nice speed alive. 80 knots. V1 rotate. V2 positive rate climb, gear coming up. Flaps to 5, reduce that throttle to climb. We're going to keep steeping up, pitching steeply. And I'm going to do a left hand turn out there on the departure. Controls are very, very responsive. I'm thinking Laminar probably tuned and tweaked the hardware compatibility with 12.3, and of course 12.4 will probably tweak it some more, so you can definitely feel those aerodynamics. Anyway, flaps up. There's the first leg of our departure. I'm going to activate the autopilot in a second. We're going to continue climbing. And we're going to select the vertical navigation mode. There we go. Cool. She wants to climb about 20 degrees even though she's fully loaded, so autopilot coming on. Hopefully this will follow the track with no issues, and we should be clear. It's saying 5,000, but let's do flight level change, and we'll climb at a faster speed. The aircraft does that sometimes, so the FMC says a lower altitude than you're at, it will suddenly pitch down, in which case we'll keep climbing at 255, 270. A little bit of a hiccup with the aircraft. It's just because they've not programmed it correctly. So in that case, we should put flight level 190 there. So flight level 190. Or there, of course. Cool, 10,000 feet. Landing lights coming off. Let's turn the APU off. Not literally. Turn the bleed out first. The generator, and we can stop it. We'll wait for that to cool down. We'll leave the master switch on probably. The anti-ice stays very, very cold. Windshield air off. Recognition lights can come off above 10,000, so can tail flood. Should reset those before takeoff. I don't think you meant to do it in flight. Oh well. Vertical navigation is engaged. So everybody, we're en route to Nantes, first stop of the waypoint, and then we'll continue there after a quick hop over and continue to Toulouse Airport. As you can see, top of climb is pretty imminent, so we're there already. And the weather radar, of course, I forgot about that. So, because they implemented it in 12.3, it's now appearing automatically on the X-Plane 12 Citation radar, for example, and all the default aircraft that have a radar built in will show the weather at the same time. So this is really, really useful. Previously, as I've talked about, they never used to have functionality down here. So by default, the weather radar is always on. It was in the off position, and it was always like that, and you couldn't interact with these buttons, but now, of course, it spawns it with it on, and you can turn it on or off to your liking. It's really, really fantastic that they added this. It gives some more functionality to the Citation X, and just improves the aircraft we all love, really. Cool, flight level 190, let's reduce our throttle just a little bit. Just let that speed build up. Beautiful, heavy rain, heavy snow it looks like possibly we'll have when we get there. Let's just look at this again. So, we'll recap, we've got a 1 Delta arrival. We haven't got a waypoint on there actually, so it says up here we'll be climbing by Ren, but then Ren isn't actually on the waypoint, so that's a little bit confusing. If we look in the FMC though, it probably will tell us Ren, so Golden, yeah, so it's not even appeared on there. I'm not sure what they meant by 230. Very short flight, top of descent is coming up. And then we'll do the ILS. Let's program that in. Navigation arrival. So runway 21 Nitten transition on, have approach Golden 1 Delta arrival. Cool. Let's get ready to descend already. And just sync to fan mode. Very dark in here. I have switched on the cabin master lights. Let's turn them off and on again. Usually when it goes dark it will automatically turn on, but for some reason it's not doing it. Oh well. Looking like a rough day in France. We are now transitioned into their airspace, you can see from Jersey control. And I think this will probably be Paris control, or even Brest, actually, Brest control for this region. I can always see Nantes down here, so we tune this in on the second video, 115. Now, on X-Plane it's coming up 11550, so that's interesting, another difference. As you can see there, the white arrow rotating telling us where it is. The RLS frequency, again, we'll probably get that off the charts, but we can get it off here as well for runway. Then again, we're not, are we? We're doing the runway 21, so we don't have an RLS. Chart's giving us the RNAV approach. Should be on standard pressure, and then we'll go down to 10 for the pressure when we descend, and all the runway lengths and things that are there for you. Very, very useful. 1442, full flaps, wet runway conditions, and then there's no RLS, of course, runway 21. Severe weather though. Absolutely brutal. Right, let's get descending already, guys. So we're going to set 7,000 feet, sorry. I'm going to descend at whatever the plane tells us to descend at. 7,000 pre-selected. This is brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. I've been watching so many videos of the Microsoft Flight Simulator that, you know, admittedly I am probably going to try it again, but when I look at the price of all their add-ons, I kind of think we're really lucky on X-Plane because we get this, you know, brilliant Citation X for free, included with the game, whereas Laminar don't get it for included. And although they might have a bigger base, the majority of the planes are fitted out with Garmin 1000s, but this thing, as I say, is just the perfect hybrid between the digital and analog eras. So yeah, basically, even though I want to try Microsoft, it's never going to beat. It's just not going to beat X-Plane's Citation X, I don't think. I probably won't even be able to try it because I'll have to buy it. But yeah, there's also the Laminar Research Piper Cub as well, which is a contested plane which I'm going to be trying out on stream. Of course, the Beechcraft Baron, which is brilliant, probably my favourite plane actually on the game. And then with the REP pack, it's taken into a whole other dimension of flying. It feels so much more realistic. Cool, so we've passed the top of descent, we're not actually descending. Let's go for a flight level change and we'll continue descending about 265. We can increase that if we need to. Let's go for vertical speed actually, not flight level change. And we'll descend about 1800 feet a minute. Yeah, so we got some severe weather here. I am going to divert actually because we've got some red weather coming up. We do not want to go through this. The weather, yeah, the weather there is something that we need to avoid. So ideally we could divert left and then go round to Nitten. I think I'm going to do that. So let's get our heading mode on. To our current course, we're setting just slightly left of the weather. You see, this is why we take reserves and contingency fuel, everybody, in case we need to divert. So heading mode activated. Now what we're going to do is go into the FMC and change direct to Nitten. And then that way, when we come back on course around that severe weather, we'll be back into the transition era or level. And hopefully we'll be able to do that. Or we could even go straight to RS for a forward skip transition completely. Again, it's totally up to you as a pilot. Yeah, even the X-Plane 12 map is showing some severe weather. Not red on this one, but it is in the aircraft, so I'll take the aircraft's word for it. We're probably not going to be able to avoid it completely, just the severe bit down here. So we'll go slightly round and then come back on course. We'll slow our descent rate to about 1500 in case we get some wind shear. So we've got an aircraft ahead though. I think it's saying 11.8 on it. That's Bern Airport as well. We're about to pass it over. I've been there a few times. Very good airport. As you can see, it's getting rough, but nowhere near like it would have been on the red zone. Fuel wise, so we did take, as I say, extra. We have 2160 in the left and 2220 in the right. So that's in pounds, unfortunately. I would like the ability, I don't know if the Laminar would consider it, but possibly changing this and allowing people to put it into kg so we can change it. Obviously, if you want kg, you can do it on the iOS. So we know that about 1987 is this amount of pounds, but it'd be good to view it in kg in the plane as well. Cool. There's our next waypoint. Let's hopefully get there in one piece. We're still descending now, probably down to flight level straight down to 3,000 feet, and we'll keep descending at the rate we are, about 290 knots. Okay, APU coming back online. Let's get our APU start. Pressurization is good as well. That's over on the right hand side. A little bit hard to see with the turbulence. And cabin lights, brilliant. So cabin lights have come on now. We're dark enough. And you will notice that there are variations in the cabin and the design depending on which livery you go for, so that's always great to see. So it appears, it does look slightly different. This looks like more of an older classic style, and of course the outside livery is more of a classic style as well. So APU online, get the generators. I'm going to put the maximum bleed air on. Literally so turbulent I cannot do it. There we go. This is a really rough bit, guys. Hold in there, hold in there. I know this is like $8 grand per passenger, but we'll make it. Slow down the descent just a little bit more to about 1,000 feet. She looks like she's struggling, and no doubt she is. This kind of wind is really, really dangerous and turbulent. These are the sort of conditions, if we had an attitude failure, we would be completely screwed, I think. We'd have the backup one, of course, but because it was so disorientated, it's so key to keep the blue side up and the brown side down. Anyway, there we are. We're about to push through it, about to push through some like nightmarish weather, and we'll be clear and then go to our limb as a transition, not transition, but the next waypoint for the RS 404. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go put the LNAV on, and we'll go for the VNAV. Just send down as required. You have to keep the head in mode because the thing can't lock on at this distance, of course. Hey, landing lights on. Engine sync off. Well, the anti-ice is on. We still got -3 degrees. We are in severe clouds, so there will be ice formation. I think the weather radar, let me just check for you lots. Not the weather radar, but the weather here. So sometimes it'll give you areas and it will say turbulence and things like that, and it will become up with big squares on it, and that's how you know. Not on this one, sorry, on Sky Vectors, and that's how you know you've got issues. So down here, for example, they got turbulence. You know, turbulence. Sometimes it'll say ice. Really, really useful though for checking what kind of conditions. So we're still on this stretch, and then we'll have 246 to find a destination. Okay, slats deployed and 5 degrees of flaps. Landing speed 121, so VAP speeds, approach speed 126. Let's try and do it at the approach speeds today in properly. For some reason the spoilers are deploying, might be my fault. Smooth controls. Nantes traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo, descending flight level 3,000 feet for the Nitten transition, runway 21, Nantes traffic. Okay, I think 5,000 feet is probably the transition here as well. Going to get it off of X-Plane, it is 5,000 feet, and of course 1010 the QNH, so let's get that in. There we go, 1010, and minimums are 200 feet. We'll leave the backup one here on 1013, standard pressure. And this will give us 0 speed as well, which is very useful. So about 200, and it is accurate, everybody. That is very, very accurate. So the analog instruments do function as expected. This thing is very useful as well for following VORs, and it is in fact already pointing at one, the same as the white thing there. And the white thing is pointing towards a Nantes VOR at the moment. 22 in the cabin. It's pretty warm. So the cockpit, personally, I don't like it that hot. I like it about 18 degrees. Plus, if the cabin's a little bit warmer, as it is at 22, that's going to keep the cockpit and cabin air distance nice and sufficient. So maximum difference, I think, at the moment is good. It's 3,000 feet for the approach. We can probably lock onto the lateral navigation again, and hopefully it will fly to it. Fingers crossed. Seems to be going a little bit off course and getting a little bit confused. Maybe if we do that one instead. Yeah, a little bit better on that one. It was turning the wrong way before that. It still is turning the wrong way. What is this doing? Severe weather. I do not recommend flying like this in VFR, everybody. That's why we got this IFR today. The instruments are our lifesaver and our lifeline. We have to rely on them. We have no other choice. So 3,000 feet, and it looks like that'll be we have programmed the arrival and the approach, haven't we? So we're very close to this airport. I'm hoping I've programmed it incorrectly. It only says there's no that's kind of like final, I guess, but there's no indication there of the airport. It would usually say the airport name or the ICAO code, for example. At the moment, it seems like it's going to be taking us so close to the runway that I'm going to have to take over. Yeah, so let's slow down. We'll drop 15 degrees of flaps. Let's descend a little bit more to about 2,000 feet, or at least start descent to 2,000. So now head into current course, and the course is set. So set the navigation, not the navigation. VR2. Working, so we've got to put up with FMS. I'm going to take control. Bit silly to do it in this kind of weather because we need to keep good separation here from other aircraft, but I can't really see the aircraft doing it itself. So as you can see, it's slightly off course. We just need to get a little bit more onto the left, and I think where it says mapped is where the airport is. Okay, we have ground to sight. Fantastic. We should hopefully see some big lights in a sec. Nantes traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo. 3,000 feet, descending through for the RNAV approach runway 21. Brilliant, we can see daylight, that's all that matters, everybody. As long as we've got at least some visual reference, we won't be able to miss it. The key, I think, to, you know, if you can't see where you're going and you think you're going to need to descend to see the airport, is to make sure that you're, first of all, in an aircraft that's capable of a sort of category 3 approach, which is probably what it'd be in this kind of weather if we couldn't see, and we still can't to some extent. So I don't think the Citation X is category 3 certified. I also don't think the airport has a category 3 on the other way. So 21 doesn't even have an ILS. Runway 3 does, but again we'd have to check what category of ILS that is. So yeah, that's why it's key for us to have a visual approach as well as an instrument approach. Anyway, we've got clear, so we've got clear air, no airport in sight at the moment. Descending still to maintain about 1,800 feet. Hi Mike, how you doing? Wow, I've not seen you in a while. I hope you're doing very well. How's it in the north of England? It's where I am. It's been absolutely madness in terms of the weather. Flying down south a lot and there's been nothing but storms. So set 2-1 on the course as well. We'll do that right and turn here for final. We're going to stick our gear down. We're within the sort of pink line region. There she goes. She can handle it well, this plane. If you guys really want to see some amazing flying, go back and watch my Beach Baron 5A from the other day. I was landing in Sion and there was severe snowstorms. You couldn't see a single thing. There's the runway. It's quite some distance. We are quite far. And we're also off course. So this is the Arnav approach. Obviously, we're going to come in at an angle, it seems, unless that is the wrong runway again. But it seems to be giving us an angle to the right, and then we're going to be turning sort of left onto final. It's extremely responsive on these controls. I really think they've tweaked the hardware compatibility well. The Honeycomb as well is, as I say, very responsive to it. It's almost like you can feel the wind on the ailerons and the rudder and things and the elevator. The Honeycomb, by the way, it's not force feedback as far as I'm aware, but it is definitely spring loaded, and that will change depending on trim settings. And other things like that. You can definitely feel the drag. Right, there's the runway. We have 2 puppies, red and white. Let's go ahead and stick our gear down. And we'll go full flaps. And bring that speed down to about 126 for the approach. Maintain our N1 where it is, and we won't adjust that too much. Only where needed. Nantes traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo final for the Arnav approach, runway 21. Yeah, so as you can see everybody, the approach was not where we expected it. It's sort of heading in that direction. I think the idea, you fly to the map, Tango Sierra, and then you do your manual flying from that point on for the Arnav. Right over the city as well, so pretty cool. What do we have on winds? 22, 26 knots, we've got to be cautious of that. It has the feet stabilised on the Arnav approach 2-1. We're going to continue. Quite heavy rain and wind. The only concern is the crosswind or potentially wind shear in this kind of weather. Looking good though. Keep it steady. Be aware, guys, when you touch down, don't apply too much rudder pressure. Just a little bit. You see, we're taking the extra speed because of 22 knots headwind.
400. 300.
Approaching minimums.
Minimums.
Looking good. We're going to continue. There's no issues at the moment.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Oh, whoa. Reverses and spoilers. You can't teach that. Seriously. You cannot teach that. That was great. I hardly felt the touchdown at all. Oh, brilliant, everybody. Welcome to Nantes, or however you say it in France. What a beautiful, beautiful approach. You know me, I like to gloat my own landings. That was lovely. It really was. Oh, God, let's clear the runway 2-1 with taxi via Bravo. Cool, so turn the taxi lights off when we clear the runway. Amazing. We are going to be watching that 100%. Anti-ice can come off. Keep the heats. Taxi lights, landing lights. What a landing. Right, let's check we're at the right airport. I think we are. Just about, not bad. We'll taxi down Romeo 2 and we'll go in Mike because it's a little bit more secluded. It might also be better for maintenance, so we'll have a quick stop over where we can get some drinks and snacks and things, and then we'll plan for our next route to final destination today in France of Toulouse Airport. If you are enjoying this, welcome. If you're new, welcome, of course. Regular viewers, great to see you back, and I really hope that people get more interested in this particular plane by Laminar and don't feel the need to buy one, because this one is great. It really is. And of course, strobe lights off. There's Mike. I can't see any spaces. I think it's where this 737 is, this KLM. Sort of like it really is its own secluded area, so I wonder who would park there. Would that be cargo, or would it be commercial or private or something like that? Great for the Citation though, great kind of space. Right, here's Mike. Let's go down here. 15 knots maximum in wet conditions. Let's go co-pilot mode for a sec. Yeah, brilliant. This is ideal. Mike Zulu. Round we go, just about, struggling with a turn. And there we'll hold. Whoa! So while the co-pilot doesn't taxi everyone, he does a pretty good job sometimes. Cool, we're just going to hold short where this line is, and then that will allow us to taxi straight out again. Or we could go there, 1 and 2. parking brake down. We're going to leave everything where it is other than the engines. So we're going to turn the engines off. Let's leave the packs on. And let's shut these down. So everything is off. If we need off, we can leave these systems on. We can turn the avionics off if we need and keep the ICAS. But in this kind of a plane, you need to monitor it on this system. Engine shutdown. It's transponded to standby. We're going to squawk the same code we did on the way there. So 3114. Beacon light coming off. We'll leave the recognition and tail flood on. They should be on at lower altitude anyway, and windshield there can come off. As you can see, they're slowing down. That's so cool. So as the windshield there stops, the droplets increase. Door open. Let's get out. It's very rainy out here, everybody. I can hardly hear you, but thank you, everybody. See you later. And, you know, thank you to all those rich people. They don't talk a lot. They're very, very quiet. We're going to have a quick coffee and a drink. Maybe a tea, actually. I'm going to get some tea. Can we put chocks on this thing? Oh, we can. So, this is one thing I forgot to mention. As part of the update, they added chocks. Now, you can't actually click them in place via the ground menu because for whatever reason, Laminar hasn't done that. However, if you sign a key to toggle chocks, you can actually assign them to the majority of aircraft. And as we've done here, it will in fact put the chocks in place in the correct places. So thank you, Laminar, for doing that. I've got my key assigned for that, so of course, because it won't work off the ground menu. Alright guys, we're going to take a quick tea break, and I will see you for the second part in about 5 minutes. I need some time here to adjust things and get the flight plan sorted, so I'll put 5 minutes. We'll see how it goes. I'll see you soon. Oh, before we go, actually, let's watch the replay. I said I was going to, didn't I? Replay, that was pretty good. You definitely can't teasel everybody. That was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? Anyway, no more gloating. 5 minutes break. I'll see you soon. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello. We're back now. Part 2, going from Nantes to Toulouse Airport in Citation X. Default Citation X by Laminar Research. Thank you so much for a brilliant aircraft. So much fun to fly. I just pre-filed the flight plan and we've got the route available. So let me bring that on route for you, on the screen for you. And any sound issues as well, let me know. So here we go. Windows, sky vectors. We have the flight plan. The wind and the weather is pretty northerly pushing, so as you can see, those cold fronts, we've actually pushed through the harshest bit. As you can see here, the south of England, or at least the southwest, is really hit quite badly, and so was Jersey and Guernsey to some extent. So we've pushed through this, and now we're down to Nantes, and it does seem to be getting a little bit better as we go along. We've just got the cold fronts, northerly facing wind, quite strong winds, and that caused the cold weather. It is still pretty warm though, 14 degrees, 10 degrees respectively, down in Toulouse, but these dark patches are not a concern. This would be usually if, as I say, cold weather and snow and potentially rain. Usually rain though, clouds, rain clouds, and when it's bad you will see dark orange like here, and you'll see red spots as well. That's the sort of dangerous area where there's ice probably, and you know, just not good to fly through, is it? Very, very turbulent. Flight plan wise, let me go ahead and get into the cockpit, everybody. So we'll hop in, I'll run to the plane. By the way, brilliant suggestion there to get some food at the cafe. Absolutely gorgeous food. Anyway, back into the flight plan, we have quite a route actually. Lugan 4 Sierra departure, so it's all Citizen stars, and then the Section 7 Sierra for arrival. Somebody's given us 29,000 feet, so we'll do that, and we have, well, we need at least 2,300 on the fuel, so a little bit more than what we had on departure there. Let's bring up the fuel. Let's calculate, so 23.17. And I'm assuming on the packs we're going to have the same amount, but again, it could have changed. So there's actually more people on board. I don't know how, when we could only fit 8 people in the back. So I'm just going to keep it at 8. We've still got 200 kilograms of baggage. This can all stay the same. It's within the limits. Times, flight logs, wind information. So this is kind of important. So again, strong wind, 72 miles an hour, or 72 knots. I'm not sure what measurement that's in. It probably is in knots. Minus 45. ATC is pre-filed. This is the information. Squawk codes are not included in this. Okay, so 10-10 on the QNH, 2-1 for departure. We're doing flat 15 again, and then we'll get V1. They're the estimates. Let's see how accurate that actually is. Right, let's get cracking on with it, guys. So into the cockpit, we'll close the cabin door. We'll remove the chocks, and we'll get programming. So as you can see, we're already ready to go. We just need to do the flight planning. We could load it in, but it's a lot more fun, I think, to do it by hand. So LFRS. LF. BO. Let's just double check our flight plan and double check that is in fact correct. LFBO, yes, that is correct. And then departure, we need the Lugan 4 Sierra departure, runway 21. It is a lot of fun flying Citizen stars in the Citation X. Like usually it's because it's so fast. It's very easy to navigate them compared to a smaller plane. I know that sounds strange, but it even feels faster than the 737, and it actually is very, very considerably quicker than one of them. So Lugan there, and then we'll continue on to the 184. We can't do airways in this, so it'd be direct to the Charlie November Alpha. As you can see there, it's coming up with this thing. IRS position 21 or whatever that is. Direct at Valley. And then direct to the arrival, so the navigation. I see, so flight plan, you do need to put the airport into VI2 at the end there to make sure it's registered. And then we can do the arrival. So runway 14 right. Again, we've got a few options here: DME, ILS, RNAV. We've just done an RNAV approach, so I kind of fancy doing an ILS. I don't think we've got any HC available at the moment, so we'll put ILS. Transition wise, let's get the chart up. This is important for seeing what's available. So LFBO. Let's tune the ILS into this, so 110.7. We could look at the arrival first. We've got to figure out though what kind of arrival it is, and it seems to be an RNAV arrival. So maybe the RNAV approach would have been better. And this is the arrival here from the north, so between 15 and 19,000. Descending through, so it looks like the Suez is the transition, possibly. Let's just keep looking. Right. Yes, because where's the airport here? Somewhere in the middle. Can't see it. So there's the Suez 1. Just thinking, what one do we actually need though? Suez 1 or number 2? Let's go for number 1. And let's see if the thing is there. So 7C error is correct. Looks like it's going to work. Activate that. Okay, brilliant. Fingers crossed that should be the the route. Can't see it all from here. Anyway, weather radar should also be off. I forgot about that. Let's just go back. FRS, I just want the ground map for Nantes Airport. So we've had down here, we went into the mic apron. We'll probably do Romeo 2 where we were at Jersey. So Romeo 2, Romeo 3, Romeo 4. Basically down taxiway Romeo to Foxtrot, and we'll hold short to Hotel Sierra 1. And then we'll take the full length for the runway 4 departure. That's the taxi route planned out at least. The route is programmed in. Let's do a performance. Cruising altitude. What are our cruise again? 29,000 feet. So that should be good. 5,000 on the transition. And you'll see that the flight plan reset itself, and once we completed it on the first sort of leg, it goes back to restart mode, which is great. Saves a lot of hassle. 15 degrees, check. These are the V-speeds, so if we go back to the flight plan, it's really interesting just to see A, how inaccurate SimBrief is sometimes, but also how close it can be when it decides to do it right. So if we go to runway analysis, V1 116, we've got 115, 117, so it's very close, and then V2 is in fact correct at 129. So that's pretty damn close. I'd say that's perfect. So it just seems to be the weight and balance issues that it's still got, and also speed and time is an issue on it, but I'm sure they'll fix it in due course. Okay, there's the landing speed. We don't need that yet. Let's just check the takeoff speed again. So 129, and we can bring it up on here, so 129 down there. Alright guys, let's get the engines cracked on. So beacons, ensure there is on, ensure the heat is on. The right engine start. So cool. Right, engine's coming alive, there's no issues there. We'll wait till it just levels off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on ground idle while we wait. Parking brake is set. Let's go for a left engine. Flight controls free and correct. We're going to do 15 degrees when we get to the runway. We're going to set our course now, so it should already be at 2-1 just about. On the heading at least, and we're going to do our minimums and things, so we want 1,000 feet above ground level, so 1,100. We're also going to set the navigation and the... You might want to check vertical navigation first if you're unsure it's been programmed correctly, and then select flight level change, because that's how we do the transition from takeoff into vertical navigation mode on this plane. Apparently 180 is what it recommends. I actually recommend you go a lot faster than that, probably about 220, because if you're going to go at 180 you're going to be way too fast. So as you can see that it's come up 190. As long as we're at 190 or above, we'll be good for the climb out. I say 220 because if you're at 180 it will be wanting to pitch up to about 20 degrees, which could be a problem. Of course, cause stalls. So taxi lights on. We left the packs on for startup and it didn't actually have any issues, probably because we've got the bleed air off the APU on max. So that's all good. I'm going to crack the cabin down just about 20 degrees. There we go, so a little bit of a difference there for the Arius. Flight management system number 1 is selected. Let's get taxiing. So we planned our route, as they say, Romeo via Foxtrot, holding short. It says Hotel Sierra 1, but it probably is Foxtrot 1 down there. Let's get going. Let's put our frequency 1228. Parking brake released. Nantes traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo, taxi runway 21 via Romeo Foxtrot, holding short, runway 21. Ah, I see what I'm doing. I'm accidentally switching frequencies for some reason. Pressing the wrong button, but I still gave the call out. I'll be mindful of this beautiful KLM next to us. And I will be flying the 737 again shortly. I just want to focus on these smaller planes. The bigger planes, as they say, they are good, but I really like the small ones. The small jets, the small propeller aircraft, especially GA planes, right up my alley. Interesting, we got it on there. You'll see that one's at 32, so that's because we were ground idle high. That is a little bit different to what I was used to. So because we did it before we started the left engine, it was only on 1. Put it on 2 now. See, both the end ones are rising to about 32%. Also got a little bit of an issue there with the controls. It is pretty quiet in front. I noticed a lot of people, obviously Monday as well, isn't it? Everyone be, I don't know, busy working if they're going at this time or not. But it tends to get super busy in France, very rarely to be honest. I don't know why, it just, every time I fly into Paris for example, there's no ATC. It's very rarely on, but places like Germany, last night especially Germany, Poland, Balkans, they were all packed with traffic and packed with ATC. It was brilliant. It's just France that doesn't get enough love on the ATC side of things. No idea why. Okay, is this Hotel Sierra? Foxtrot, holding point runway 21, that'll do. Captain's in charge this flight. The lights are not on, let's try it one more time. Just look at that level of detail down there. The realism is definitely not lacking on this game. this flight sim, actually, proper flight sim. So standby, we're going to do tests and altitude. We'll just quote the same code we've got. Clearance wise, we'll just assume we've been cleared. Pitos, windshield the air is going to stay on. It's 13 degrees, but we'll probably get some precipitation again as we get higher. Passenger safety, strobes are coming on, the packs are on. Landing lights, no lead engine sync at the moment. Usually we'd only have that in a cruise. Flaps to 15. You can see there on the wing, the slats and flaps. So the slats are at the front and they deploy first, very realistically by the way, and then the flaps at the back. 15 degrees and 30 degrees on this plane doesn't actually look like that much, but you can only really notice it when you're coming on London. So we're ready to go. We're going to go straight up to cruising altitude. Which is, or it should be, flight level 290. I think we have, actually, do we have a step? I think we have a step climb, so it'd be 250 and then 290 at super. Probably just better off going straight up, to be honest, but we'll follow the flight plan and see if anything changes. If there's any major issues, we will adjust the plan accordingly. Right, weather radar on. Let's check with the areas lights, and no obvious issues here. Let's get going. Cockpit released. Come on, plane. Fully loaded. Yeah, you definitely feel that weight difference. Nantes traffic, November 750, Sierra Bravo, departing runway 21, Lugan 4 Sierra departure. That's indeed our departure, the Lugan 4 Sierra departure. The arrival, everybody, if you can keep it in mind for us, good co-pilots, is the Sichi 7 Sierra for 14 right. Ailerons, elevators, temperatures and pressures are good. Controls are working. Runway established. Advancing the throttles. Abort takeoff. So, not aborting takeoff, just holding off on the takeoff. So what we've done there is not set the trim in the correct position, which will result in issues taking off, especially with 15 degrees of flap. So about 5 or 6 is good. We'll retry one more time with the brakes on, just make sure there's no issues. No, it's all good. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take off frisky set. Airspeed alive. 80 knots, cross check. V1 rotate. V2 positive right gear coming up. You can see there we're going to pitch up quite steeply. Just until we get past this first waypoint, or at least to 1,000 feet, whichever is first. Looks like 1,000 feet has beat us to it. It's going to reduce this back to climb on the thrust. We're going to retract the flaps to 5 degrees, pitch down a little bit more to about 12 degrees, and increase to 220. Let's get the LNAV and VNAV mode on, so once it's about 200 knots, we can go a little bit faster, I think. Just to thrust back a little bit. Full flaps retracted. aircraft is climbing well. As I say, we're just going to go straight up to 250 and then we'll climb to 290 for the rest of the trip. Nantes travelling November 750 Sierra Bravo, looping for Sierra departure, climbing now, flight level 240. Cool, so there's transition. Let's set our standard pressure 5,000 feet and we're going to continue the turn manually, and then when we get on course, I'll put the autopilot on. Oh, the anti-ice shield there can come off. Very, very stabilised. We are going to have some strong winds. As I say, it's already at 40 knots. We are going to have some stronger winds at cruise, probably 70 knots, according to the flight plan at least. Okay, we're stabilised, autopilot engaged. Going to monitor the system, make sure it's doing everything it should. It should be now. We continue to climb up to flight level 50. If not, we can adjust it using the vertical speed, but I think it should be good. Alright, so after takeoff checklist, the landing lights are on about 10,000 feet, so we turn them off. We can turn our recognition off and tail floods off at this point. Anti-ice is on, the APU can come off as well. Just monitoring the system as well, because obviously the high winds are going to affect performance. What we're looking at in terms of performance being affected would be things like fuel flow, and that would probably indicate ice build-up potentially in the lines, or we'd expect an airspeed decrease if there was some build-up on the wings and boots on the front leading edge, for example. So APU coming off, we'll leave the master switch on. We can switch this to high pressure, now we're above 12,000 feet, and we did that in high pressure as we get higher to allow the air into the cabin from the engines. Let's just check the transition. So 2 par, so it's 25,000, 2 par 290. We didn't find the other one on the other flight plan, so will this show it on this list or not? It doesn't seem to have the waypoint, in which case I'm assuming we just go straight up, unless it was a waypoint on the actual departure on the Lumen 4 Sierra. Put 290, let's change it on the autopilot to 290. It's coming up with 250 on the level there, but we can adjust that as needed. Yeah, 290 is programmed in. Really is something else. That weather as well, we've just pulled what looks like a hurricane. It's not an actual hurricane, but it looks like it. We've literally come out of the harsh weather now, and as you can see, we're finally flying into the sunset. What's the weather destination? It'd be interesting if, you know, we're going from IFR conditions to VFR conditions, wouldn't it? So if we go down here, we did look at the runway analysis things and weather. There was no obvious notings to note other than the cost index issue, but that's fine. Airport weather is not available. That's a real shame, to be honest. Oh, actually, we do have it here. So 140 at 13 knots. So it's a lot calmer there. Cavite conditions. So it is Cavite conditions, which means visibility in all directions, hopefully. See, we sort of came in here and it was all clouded over. Yeah, broken clouds and few at 4500. Here we've got Cavite conditions, everything is good, QNH 1017. Actually, let's just check that. 1017. Yeah, 1017, so we land in 14, we'll have full flaps. We've got the ILS tuned in, 110. Right, pressurization. 29,000 feet, let's set that on here. We'll climb and continue to climb 1,000. You can adjust this knob and it will climb or decrease at different rates. So because there's differential pressures here, we're in the good zone. If it was to come up here, for example, you could increase the rate of the cabin pressurizing, or you could simply descend. It might also indicate a pressurization issue. There's no need to mess with any of this in the simulator. As I say, the pack's being on high pressure in the higher altitude is what is required. Cabin temperature can increase. 2,000 feet, by the way, this is not a comfortable ascent rate. As I say, 500 is the normal amount for most people. If you really want to push it, I'd say 1,000 feet is probably the absolute most before people start complaining about it. Gorgeous views there, everybody. Sit back, relax, enjoy your flight to Toulouse. There'll be no snacks or drinks on board today, so we'll wait till we get there. You can help yourself in the private VIP lounge, Grand from Corporate Charter, all included with the cost of your ticket. There's the feet to go. Let's go ahead and level off. Let's let the co-pilot do some work for us to change. So we're going to let him to adjust some of the systems as he wants to. Unfortunately, when you change the heading mode, though, I've noticed it will only work on the captain's side. It won't actually change the co-pilot's heading. In that case, we probably just need to sync the heading for him. So we'll do that over there. 1,000 feet, co-pilot, reduce that thrust for us, please. I don't need to tell him, but we'll do anyway. Reduce that probably between 70 and 80 is about right for the Citation X. And remember, we've got those strong winds pushing north, so we've got a headwind the entire way. And actually, X-plane is showing something different, so captain's side again, and I'll show you the weather what I have. So wind has in fact not changed since the last checked. As you can see there, northerly winds going sort of northeast. Yeah, very odd, very odd. X-plane is more like, almost as if it's coming in from that direction. That's the trip, guys. There's Nantes we've deployed where it says 14. Looks like they got the harsh weather. It is in fact moving over, and we're coming into this clear region, hopefully in cabin conditions at Toulouse Airport. Arrival, just to recap, will be the this arrival. The Sector, it is in fact the 7th area, but obviously we've not got the updated info, so it's 8th area arrival for the Surreys. I'm assuming that's like a transition there or something, and then down to 14 right. Not much info on that chart, so let's go ahead and get the ILS approach. ILS Zulu. Not the code, the actual map, please. It's way down there, of course. So as you can see, actually, that's a good thing. It will tell you there what kind of category. So it's category 1, 2, or 3. Approved, and it will also say it on the chart. So if you have any doubts, if you are category 3 approved and all of them approved, then you should be fine on this kind of runway. But I'm not sure what category the Citation X is. This is classified as being okay for 1, 2, and 3. But it is giving us or A, B, C, D there for the weights as well. So 3000, we will come into this sort of transition area. Toulouse is 117, let's tune that into number 2. On the VOR, so VOR 1177. Really good way to get the co-pilot involved as well. I mean, obviously he still does his work, but he's not as hands-on as the captain, is he? Yeah, 3,000 feet, and then there's nothing obvious there that we should know about. The go-around procedure, it will probably be up to 3,000, as you can see, so we'll go around if we need to, and well, it says 4,000, and then descend 3,000 again. Brilliant! Everybody sit back, relax, I'm going to have a cup of tea, and I will see you in a couple of minutes. I've missed this plane so much. I've been flying so many propeller and general aviation planes lately that are not jets. And just hopping back in the default Laminar Citation X, it really is. It's such a pleasurable experience. If you want to experience the beauty of aviation, get into this aircraft and learn it, at least learn how to fly it. You will probably find, one of the things I found really interesting was the control inputs. So as they've updated the game, they've obviously made it better and more responsive to hardware, but even before that it required very little input, like on the rudder control, especially when landing. On the hand controls, you barely need to put any aileron in there and it will turn very, very quickly. Obviously because it's a high-speed jet, it's a high-performance jet. But if you compare it to something like, I don't know, a Citation 525, which I also fly, you know, you can feel that difference. The 525, because it's so small and slow, it really requires quite a lot of input to turn, but this thing, it's almost like flying a military jet, it's so fast. Welcome, Pilot LH, good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. No, don't worry about it, it's not a problem. The stream is here, and I mentioned at the beginning about it being an opportunity to inform people that the best way to get involved, if you want to get involved officially, then be a, you know, part of the channel, at least get involved somehow, let me know your name, and join in with stream flights, and we can do a shared flight experience. But yeah, sorry to hear you're unwell, I hope you get better soon. In the meantime, I get practice on the Citation X, which is an absolute pleasure, and we're flying, of course, to Toulouse Airport in France, which is the cream of the crop in terms of aviation. One of the best places to fly in France, right next to the Alps. Right next to the Eiffel Tower, you got it all here. By the way, if anybody doesn't know, Pilot LH was actually one of the second people to join the channel who offered to fly with me, which was very kind of me. I did have somebody else, and I can't remember the name, it may be Sky Eagles possibly, a while ago, who said he would have joined in if he'd known about the flight. So just make a note of that. If you do want to join, I take my time on the ground, I go through all my charts and all my departure procedures, you know, get the aircraft started, so you have a good half an hour at that starting period to get joined in, so there's no obligation to rush it. Good question, welcome Gelmore, 1674, wow, what a year. Don't remember it much, I was quite non-existent at that point. Yeah, it is fairly straightforward once you've learned it and once you've got your flows down. So for me personally, it's just like most other jets, you have to work through your flows from left to right, you know, ensuring all the switches are off when you get in. And I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, there is a very, very useful X checklist available, and as you can see, the X checklist goes all the way from the preliminary startup to the shutdown. Now, it took me maybe 3 or 4 flights, but you can nail this and remember everything in it if you pay attention and use it frequently. I'm using this checklist, but I'm not bringing it up on screen because I know it now off by heart. I know the procedures. So yeah, I'd say once you've learned it, and if you follow something like an X checklist, you could learn it in, say, like a couple of hours. It depends what kind of a learner you are, or a couple of days. The key is, as I say, on the controls and the handling is very different to what you would expect. Only need a little bit of input and it will move quite a lot. Speed-wise, you'll have to manually manage the throttles, which can be a little bit difficult in turbulent conditions. Then there's things like the autopilot. So as long as you have a basic understanding of the systems, then you should be good to go, man. It is a great plane once you've learned it, it really is. Actually approaching our top of descent now for Toulouse Airport in front, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down from the God view up here and just plop into the captain's seat. Just a recap for anybody who's joined, we have the chart here for the approach at ILS runway 14 right, and we have the transition, or what I assume is the transition for the airport and runway. So this is our arrival at Citation 8 Sierra, and then we're coming down sort of angle for, well, you can see there how we're going to transition from arrival to the approach, and we're going to bring up the ground chart for taxi into. Big airport, Toulouse Airport, 14 right. With the ILS tuned in, we'll probably be able to get off by Sierra 6 if we're lucky, or maybe Sierra 4. And then we have sort of free reign there where we want to park. We can either go over that left side or the right side. Anyway, let's get descending, so we need to go down to flight level 150. We are at our top of descent. And I'm going to reduce that throttle back. There we go. Thanks for the response. Definitely, yes, definitely do it. Not a beginner plane, there's no doubt about it, and that's mostly because of the performance. It really is not only extremely fast, but extremely... the workload is increased in it compared to a smaller jet. You have a lot more systems to deal with. You have pressurization, you have autopilot, anti-ice systems. It's a complex, it really is a complex plane, but once you've got it down, you've got the flows, it becomes second nature. So we're going to descend down. We can change this now if we want to, and let the cabin depressurize as we descend. Just keep an eye on this differential pressure as well, so it doesn't go too high. And in the future, by the way, Gelmore 1674, we will be flying the Citation Oaks again, and you're more than welcome to join in on the flight, if I'm on the network, that is, and more than welcome to get involved that way. If you want the link for the chat list, just please put it in the comments and I will reply to you with a link. As you say, full chat list from preliminary to Shutdown, very easy to remember, very easy to integrate into the game. Flight level 150 and then 36 to 8,000 feet. We're probably not going to get there by 150, so let's go straight down to 8,000, and then that would give us enough time then to descend by the next waypoint. I think we're going to be straight in, semi-straight in, so we just have to do a slight right-hand turn and then we'll be on final. It really is going to be a straightforward approach, this. And as we say, we're trying to find parking. I'm wondering where we could go here. So we have a lot of delivery centres and cargo areas. We've got a beluga parking spot there. I've got my eye on Yankee 30 down here. Just say Airbus like here, but I think this side might be alright. If we go to the other side, we do have a lot more options and a bit more appropriate for our planes. So we have things like Golf and Charlie. It's tempting, maybe we should take the left side and go for Victor uniform. Let me know in chat everyone what you want for parking. Wouldn't mind having a link, maybe just try and do some mess around. Yeah, definitely. As I say, put it in the comments just to remind me. I will put it into the description afterwards as well for you. Okay, so conditions. Just double checking the flight plan. We don't have too severe conditions. It's supposed to be covered when we arrive, believe it or not. And we've only got 1017 on the Q&H. The transition for Toulouse, I don't know what it'll be. Probably 5,000 again or something like that. Vertical speed. Getting to that point now, 18,000 feet, plus we're in the descent, we might as well kick off the engine sync. APU's on sort of on standby mode, as you can see. A bit of quick test and tracking on as well, below 18,000. If anyone's wondering, the APU is very important at this altitude, especially when you're on a takeoff and approach. That's why we have it on, is because obviously it provides some extra electrical power in the air conditioning, but say we were taking off or landing and we had an engine failure or even a double engine failure, then with the APU online it will immediately compensate by providing the electrical and pneumatic power we need. If we didn't have the APU on takeoff and landing, if we had an engine failure or even a double engine failure, as I say, the whole system would shut down pretty much instantly because we wouldn't have a generator powers from the engines. We wouldn't have air conditioning, so that's why we've got the APU on when we come down to land and take off. If we don't have it on and we experience the failure, it could be catastrophic to us. Forgive my pronunciation, I think it's Sechi 7 Sierra, arrival, runway 14 right. Looking out for the airport on the X-plane map, it's obviously quite some distance still. It's 600 miles. It doesn't look that far, I just can't see it on the map unless I've gone map blind again, which does happen on this game. Well, I'm going to give the traffic a call out. Toulouse traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo, descending now 8,000 feet for the Sechi 7 Sierra, arrival runway 14 right. Then we'll give him a call when we get down and established on the RLS. I do have randomized failures enabled, and I just leave it on the default, so I think for most planes it's set at 10,000 hours. Yeah, so I've got this set on pretty much every plane that I have, including payware. So set mean time between failures, and the default is 10,000 hours. And it says here 593 systems that can fail randomly. Now, I have changed this in the past, and if you set it down to something like 2,000 hours, it won't really make too much of a difference. I found that irregardless of how many hours you've flown the aircraft, failures will occur at any time if you've got failures enabled. So for me, the time thing isn't even a factor. It's more important if you want failures to have this thing ticked on, and then you're more likely to get them. If you set something like 2 hours on here, which is 0 time at all pretty much, and you'll get a lot of things going wrong pretty quickly. As I say, the engine failure goes wrong in this thing. It can be nice to fly it without any engine power. You know, it's a fun little challenge, but because of the sort of nature of its design, it becomes very heavy very quickly, so you just fall like a rock out of the sky. Pretty much. Anyway, there's the convoluted arrival. We've got no idea what's going on there. It looks like he wants us to do a U-turn circle. Almost like a DME arc, isn't it? And then centre fix. So we're actually really close to the airport. Blimey. Better get descending down, everybody, to 8,000. We'll bring that speed way back. There it is, so Toulouse Airport. And if you look on our VOR thing, tuned in, this is in fact pointing in the right direction, same as this white arrow. No, that's an ADF. On the blue one and then the white one, I don't know if you can see it, but it is there. Where's 1-4? So 1-4 straight ahead, yes, so we're doing that loop. I think the loop is probably to help us lose height and speed, and then we'll sort of come down for the centre fix. Very strange approach though. I think realistically we could go from here to final and we'd be alright. Go down, straight down to 3,000 feet. Slower speed to 250. We are coming to 10,000 feet, so we're going to do our seatbelts to passenger safety, landing lights on. We're not going to deploy any flaps just at the moment until we're a little bit lower down. Anti-ice can stay on, it's about -4, although it is clear outside, so we're probably good to turn it off. Plus there was no icing conditions reported at this airport. One of my favourite planes on the game, no doubt about it. If you want to see a full sort of tutorial where we go through the chat list, you can see it visually. There are all flights on the channel available to you. And of course I will put it in the description for you afterwards, and comments as well. I'll probably pin it as a top comment or something. Okay, we're descending down 1,500 feet. We could probably slow our descent down just a little bit to about 1,300 feet a minute. And that will help bring the speed down as well. Our sort of deceleration point, well, we've gone past it. This is a very unique approach. I've never done this before. Probably because we selected the wrong kind of approach, I'm guessing. Oh well, it's fine. It will work out in the end, guys. Should be able to see Toulouse Airport over on the left-hand side. I think that's it over there, isn't it? Let's get our slats out. See if you can see the animation on the wing. Nah, it's too slow. As you say, you can see them coming out. It's one of the few aircraft that simulates it on the game. Obviously the 737 does, but can't really look at it like that on a 737. It's not as easy to see it unless you're on the outside view. Okay, we're going to continue down. So 3,000 feet is the altitude. We need the Q8, so it's 1017, wasn't it? Everybody on the chart. And we're going to set our radial minimums now, so 200 feet. We're going to leave it on vertical speed. We may go back into vertical navigation mode. Let's just check. 240 at 5,000 feet. Well, we'll continue down with vertical speed for the time being. That's only 1,000 feet a minute. Very odd, very odd. Yeah, that definitely is some kind of arc there that's going on. I know we're doing the RNAV arrival, but this arc here is a VOR DME thing. Bring the speed up, increase the thrust as we approach 3,000 feet. We're going to check our landing speeds actually. Let's get performance data. So climb cruise landing 122 on the approach and 117. We're actually really light considering we took more fuel this time, and fuel wise we're doing well. We've got a slight imbalance there. It's not too considerable. I say if that's over 100 we would need to level it out a little bit. Fuel and hydraulics are good. The engine's warm. We've got no minus temperatures in there. There's no ice formation. That I can see we've got a good 90 amps at 28 volts at each. Interesting. I wonder if they adjusted that as well with the voltage, because that used to be slightly different too. ICAS and then electrical. Ah, no, there it is. So as you notice there, pointed to sound the past, so the Celsius is usually a little bit less on the right. I think that used to be voltage that was less on the right as well. I know there was an imbalance, but as I say, it seems to have been adjusted, and it's just a case of the temperature being warmer. Now, I have pointed it out before, but the Citation X, depending on what side you're using and which generator, it will power different things. I think the left side is for the APU, and that's why it's slightly higher in temperature. I'll have to go back and recap on it at some point anyway, but it's due to the amount of systems it uses. I think it uses the flaps as well, and the gear, etc. So that's why it needs sometimes a little bit more power, and will result in higher temperatures. Okay, cool. So we're going to do this sort of weird arc. Let's get our flaps to 5, and we'll slow down now to approach speed. We're just going to stay at 3,000. As I say, this will be an ILS. Give them a call out at Toulouse Airport. There's nobody available for ATC at the moment, just the occasional aircraft. Traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo, 3,000 feet, turning for the ILS approach, runway 14 right. Okay, we're about 210, that's a good approach speed, with 5 degrees of flaps. Any slower than that, we'll need to put some more flaps in. Wind, we can use the cheap method. We've got about a headwind of 3 knots. Again, that northeast smoothly wind as we checked on the weather. I can't remember if this has wind information on it. I can't see anything on it. It gives us ground speed TES, and of course temperature is 10 degrees already. The go around, if we need to go around on this one, we will be straight back up to 4,000 feet. So we'll climb through 3,190 and then 4,000 feet, and we'll come back round to the IO14 right at 3,000 feet again and again. Just keeping those speed limits in mind of about 190, 200 knots at the most. Gonna have a little bit of time here to get established, so we can see we have the final centre fix and then final fix when we're on for right. So in between those two areas we should be able to intercept the glide slope, and we should already be on the localizer by the time we complete this turn. So we're going to slow down a little bit more to probably about 180 at this point, and once we've leveled off we'll get another notch of flaps. We're going to go full flaps today. We're going to keep our landing speed in mind, so let's keep the V-speed here. As you can see, 122 on the approach. I have done the approaches to the correct speed in the past. Depending on conditions, it may be good, it may not be good, so you may have to go in a little bit faster. I'd say a little bit faster is always better in this plane, it's otherwise you're going to struggle. So there's the 1-4 right. Slow down 180, we're going to drop 15 degrees of flaps. I'm going to switch this thing here, this pink line, to navigation for the ILS frequency, which we should have tuned in on the captain's side. Let's just double check. So sometimes on this one you will have to type it in, click on it. As you can see there, I had to click on it that time. If you type it in, I've found that it doesn't register it, so a little bit of a bug there that still needs ironing out. Anyway, we've intercepted the localizer, so the green arrow there indicates the glide slope. As that moves towards the centre, I'm going to engage the approach mode, and then the aircraft should be able to descend at the pre-assigned descent rate. In this case, I think it was 5.2%, 3-degree glide slope. There it is, it's moving towards the centre. Let's pre-engage the approach mode. So glide slope is white, the approach mode is armed, and as it gets towards there it'll lock on. We're going to drop the gear about 5 miles out, so we're about 9.8 at the moment, or 9 miles out. And when we're on the glide slope we'll give them a call out that we're established, and we'll let them know our intentions to do a landing there. There we go, so we're in the centre. It should lock on in about 3, 2, 1, there we go. Introduce our power back, and we're going to go gear down in full flaps. Toulouse traffic, November 750 Sierra Bravo, established ILS runway 14 right. Bringing the speed down now to approach of 122. As you can see, we need that extra power, otherwise it's going to go too slow. Okay, landing checklist. So landing lights on, flap gear is down, the pitos are on as normal, the strobes on, the landing lights, seatbelt signs are on, no pressurization issues. Let's just check the pressurization is in fact coming down. Yes it is, so we're depressurizing. It should ideally be at 0, so we can always increase that if we need to, or do a cabin dump and that'll get rid of it. So that's almost equal with what we're at in the aircraft sort of flight level. Thousand feet. Autopilot coming off. Yaw damper coming off. Can leave the yaw damper on longer on this because it's a bigger plane, but usually you wouldn't land with it on. So just going to continue down on the rate we're doing. Even if we're not perfect on the ILS, it's still, as long as we touch down in one piece, that's all that matters. Approaching the minimums. Getting a little bit of pushback there from the wind. Just a little bit.
300. Minimums.
Gonna continue this one. Let's reduce that power a little bit more. Yeah, there's definitely a crosswind in there. Gotta be careful of wind shear. Wind shear warnings at the moment.
30,
Reducing that power, just bring the nose back slightly. Touchdown, so spoilers and reversers. Spoilers disengaged, flaps up, spoilers retracted. Right, we did make that turn out, so we are going to do a right hand turn here, everybody, and Sierra 6, we made it in the right turnout, just as we planned. What a good landing. Welcome to Toulouse, everybody. I hope your asses aren't too sore after that ride. And we'll get some parking. Got a nice empty space ahead of us with some, looks like some beautiful hangars up ahead. We'll go there and make do. And the passengers, you guys have been great. You've hardly spoken at all. Co-pilot's been a bit lazy again though, not really doing as he should do. We'll get the co-pilot working harder on the next one, I promise. Anyway, we'll do the post-landing check just as we clear the taxiway and runway, so I'm going to hold here for a sec. Let's get our taxi lights on and the landing lights off, and we're going to kick the transponder into standby. Strobes off. We can turn all the P2 and windshield heats off at this point. Recognition and tail forward, depends how bright it is. We don't need them too much in the daytime, and then of course we can leave everything else as it is for now. But APU is already on in preparation for shutdown. What does the yaw down pressure do? Well, it does what you would do with your pedals normally in a flight. So yeah, it just keeps the ball centered, keeps it coordinated during flight, and when you turn it off, you'll then be able to use the rudder pedals to keep it coordinated. But I think this plane already has it on anyway. It's sort of like auto coordinated as it is, and you can cross jet that down here, so there'll be a ball and things that you can keep an eye on. Cool, we got a really good little space here. The hangars are closed off, but nonetheless. First time in Toulouse, welcome everybody. Tank slides off in vicinity of other people, and we'll hold short here. Looks like this may be where they've been producing aircraft. So of course, engineer them inside, put them together, and then bring them out on the ramp to show them off. Arriving in style, Toulouse Airport, not Cannes Airport, we're a little bit big for Cannes, so parking brake is set. Engine shut down, we'll leave the seatbelt signs off. No lights off. Lead air and packs coming off. APU, I guess we could. We're doing a full shutdown. Let's get the door open. So we wait until, I mean, according to the checklist anyway, we wait until these come below 10% and then we can turn the beacons off. So as you can see, all this side is now clear. We have no more switches here to turn off. It's just a case of turning these ones off on the left side. So we'll do the ignition, leave it on normal. Generators, batteries and ICAS system probably last, I think. Fuel boosts, fuel transfers, emergency lights set off. So it's as simple as that for the shutdown, and oxygen off as well. And of course standby power, otherwise you get that clicking in the background. Alright guys, let's get off and say goodbye to our VIP, I assume movie stars. You don't arrive that gracefully at Toulouse and not be a movie star, do you? Look at that, gorgeous, elegant plane, huge plane by the way, a huge private jet here. Let's just stick the chocks on. Thank you Laminar once again for the chocks. We're going to watch the replay together, and I will sign off after the replay this time. Wasn't that just a gorgeous, gorgeous landing, everybody? What a satisfying touchdown. I really loved that flight, actually. That's been a really good flight, and I've not been in the Citation X for a while, but just as I say, getting back into it, it's amazing how much I actually remember. Did we retract? We didn't retract the flaps, did we? Oh well. Yeah, it's amazing how much you can remember from the flows and stuff and the checklist, and it flies like a dream. It really does. They've improved it so much from how it used to handle. Unless it's just my imagination and I'm better at flying, but it definitely feels like there's been tweaks in there on the aerodynamics or something to do with the controls. Definitely looks amazing. It does, Jalmore. It looks so good, and I've got it capped at 60 FPS for the stream. The GPU is not stressed out at all. It's about 70%, and then the CPU is barely 30% actually, and it's still getting a good 60 FPS, which is great. So yeah, everybody, this is the sort of introduction flight to Grantham Corporate Charter. Welcome in. Previously, before Christmas, we had the Guernsey base, which has just opened. I've also just purchased a hangar in Mannheim, Germany. I actually owned a smaller hangar in Nantes in France, which is why we flew there today. Unfortunately, the Citation X is too big for it, so that's just the GA planes. But the one in Mannheim is really, really big, and it's suitable for corporate jets. So if you want to get involved in the future, you know what to do. Leave your name in the comments. Leave your intentions and what you want to do. Leave whether you want to fly with me in stream. And when I'm streaming on the network, and I make it known that it's that kind of flight and I'm on the network, I'll let you know, and then you guys could get involved if you want to. Join at the beginning, and then you'll have 20-30 minutes at the start, depending on plane, to get prepared and things. Thanks, Travel Boff. They were really nice landings. I actually feel really good after that flight. I didn't crash anything. I actually got the approaches right. I got the systems right. Yeah, so this is a good tutorial as well. Thank you, Travelboff. Once again, regular viewer, Travelboff. Thank you, Mike, for being here. Pilot LH, Gelmore, Flight Sim Innovations, a newcomer today. And, of course, a regular and newcomers, welcome to. I've had, I think, 20 subscribers in the last week, which is a lot for a small channel like me, and of course it's great to see people becoming more interested in GA planes, and it's certainly an area not to neglect. We all start here, guys. The Citation X is quite advanced. You know, we start on Cessnas, Pipers, Moonies. We work up to twin pistons, IRs, night ratings, then we get our commercial license. So yeah, it's taken a while to get to this point, but I'm very proud of Grantham Corporate. Looking forward to the future, and I really hope you are too. I will see you on Wednesday for the next flight. Take care, guys.